This is a video tutorial on EdPuzzle. At our last tech session, Jaime was kind enough to show us how to create our own videos. But sometimes I find that there are already a lot of quality videos available online. It's just a matter of tailoring those videos to fit the needs of my class and of my students. So it's fairly easy to access. Just go to edpuzzle.com. The tool itself is free, and it offers you the functions of cropping the video, cutting out parts that are unimportant. You can also add questions that can pop up at certain points in the video to check comprehension. And you can also add your own audio notes and record over the voice of the person in the video. So it's fairly straightforward. If you want to sign up, you can sign up using your Google account. If I log in, I can log in as a teacher and use my Google account. Now, once you get in, I'd like to draw your attention to the left side here where you can add a class. And that takes you through the process of creating your classes. Once you have classes, you can invite your students, and it provides an access code that they can use to register for your class, or you can share a link with your students. Okay, so let's say, for example, I would like to have a lesson on acids and bases. So I use the search function over here. And notice that EdPuzzle draws from a number of sources and not just YouTube. So it uses Khan Academy, LearnZillion, even Vimeo. And so all you have to do is just like YouTube, search using a couple of keywords. And you can preview the videos that pop up before you use them. So let's say I want to take a look at this video.
We know that if we leave water to its own device.
Now, one of the things I like to check before I use a video is to see if there are reliable captions or subtitles to the video, especially for our English language learners.
So you have some H2O, that it's in equilibrium with the auto-ionized version of itself.
So once you're satisfied with a particular video, you just click Use It, and it takes you to the editing page. Now on the editing page, there are 4 buttons. The first button is what you use to crop the video. The second button is called Audio Track, and that's where you can record an audio track for the entire video. So let's say you're not satisfied with the narration in the video, you can create your own narration. The third button is called Audio Notes. So it's different from the second one because audio notes will only pop up at certain points in the video. The fourth and last button is the Quizzes button, and this is where you can create questions that will appear at certain points in the video. So cropping is fairly straightforward. Once you're in the cropping page, all you have to do is click and drag these red strips over here to cut out irrelevant parts at the beginning and at the end of the video. Now, if at any point you're not sure how to use these functions, there will always be a Show Me How button over here, which takes you to a tutorial
How many
video.
times you wanted to use only one part of the video? Stripes next to the timeline. It is an
I find that those tutorial videos are pretty straightforward and really, really useful while you're exploring EdPuzzle. So once I'm satisfied with my cropping, I can preview it.
Plus times OH times our hydroxide ion.
And there's a time indicator here as well that really helps with the cropping. So once you're satisfied with that, you may choose to record an audio track, which again is a voiceover for the entire video. And if you'll notice, a warning pops up on the right-hand side that says you have to record the audio for the whole video to be able to save it. So that's what this function is recording a voiceover for the entire video. That itself is, again, fairly straightforward. you can click the microphone icon here. Testing, testing my own voiceover of the video. And then you can preview that.
Ion, that's the same thing.
Here, testing, testing my own voiceover of the video. And you'll notice the audio quality is fairly high. Okay. So let's move on to the third function, which is audio notes, which I think I will use more often than the audio track function. So audio notes is where you create notes that audio tracks that only pop up at certain points. So let's say that you want to explain a certain part of the video yourself, knowing the needs of your students. This enables you to do so. So you click that button. Hello, test recording audio note 1. Stop when you're done. Let's say I want to add another audio note here and say, you might want to review your laws of logarithms before proceeding with the video. And once your audio notes have been recorded, you'll notice that there are these buttons up here, and you can use those to move the audio note to the appropriate place. Okay, and you can also use that button. Hello, test recording audio note 1. Okay, and you can also use it to delete that button. Hello, test any audio note that you've created. And again, if at any point you want to know how to use this, there's the tutorial button over here. So let's move on to the quizzes function, which is the last button in the top part of the page. And again, this is also fairly straightforward. There's a tutorial button over here. So once you would like to add a question, you simply click on that green button, and it takes you to this page where you can type in your question here. I also noticed that there is an equation editor, which I would like to invite our maths and physics teachers to explore to see if that's useful. You can create multiple choice questions, marking which choice is correct, and you can also just add written comments. So let's say, for example, I want to ask, is water considered an acid, a base, both, or neither? Explain the reasoning. I click save, and that question appears above the time bar. Now, notice also that it still has those buttons for your audio notes so that you can check the placement of the questions and the audio notes compared to each other. So let's see how that works.
Plus times OH times our hydroxide.
So notice that it pauses the video and the question appears. Students can type in their response before they continue. You can also delete your question using this trash bin button over here, or you can edit the question as needed. Okay, so once you've added all the questions that you would like, you simply click Finish, and it takes you to a window where you can choose which classes to share this assignment with. You can set a due date for it. Okay. You can even prevent your students from skipping content within the video. And you can choose that. You can choose to assign that immediately, or you can save it for later, and it will appear here under My Content. So you can preview your video.
H plus times OH times our hydroxide.
Again, notice that the question pops up. Type in a response. They can submit it. If you prevented skipping, they won't be able to proceed with the video until they've answered the question.
Right, Ion, that's the same thing, just logarithm properties is the same.
Okay. You can also edit that video if you're not happy with it before you assign it to your students. So if you're going to try EdPuzzle out, please let me know how well it goes. Let me know if it was helpful, and certainly if you need any support, I'm always happy to help.